definitely had our opportunities late, and then a few different miscues, and it's back to a 2-possession game, and we couldn't quite get over the hump there.
You know, a couple of defensive situations that we're gonna, that we're gonna go back and be probably really upset about. But I mean, these guys, they battled, and these guys, they're a great team. Connecticut is a great team.
Good little taste of, what's possible for this organization and for this franchise, and there's a lot for us to, hold our heads high about.
We're all competitors in that locker room, and so it doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good to leave here and not have the opportunity to get another one.
Imagine being a rookie in the WNBA playoffs. Now imagine facing a team with 222 playoff games under their belt when your team only has 19. That's exactly what Caitlin Clark and the Fever went through against the Sun. Talk about a David versus Goliath situation. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. The arena was electric as Clark stepped onto the court. Fans were going wild, and you could feel the energy in the air. This wasn't just any game, it was Clark's chance to prove herself on the biggest stage. Her whole rookie season reputation was on the line. But here's the thing, Clark had no idea what she was really up against. Sure, the Sun were tough, but there was something else brewing. You know how they say your biggest opponent is yourself? Well, in this case, Clark's biggest challenge wasn't wearing a Sun jersey. It was something way more unexpected. Let's just say things were about to get real interesting. Clark stepped onto the court, ready to dominate. But little did she know, her biggest opponent wasn't on the Suns roster, it was her own shooting touch. What happens when a sharpshooter's bullets suddenly turn to blanks? Clark's wild ride was just beginning.
We're a young group, a pretty inexperienced group, but we came together and I had a lot of fun playing with one another, and that's sometimes the worst part of it is like you feel like you're really playing your best basketball and then it has to end.
I mean, everything that we talked about that we knew would help us be successful tonight, we did that. I don't even think we made an adjustment at halftime. We watched a couple situations that we knew we could be better at.
It'll definitely be probably a little weird for me over the course of the first couple weeks, and then I'm sure I'll get bored and pick up a basketball again. So
yeah, it's kind of the advice that I've been given all year, just with the sold out arenas that we've been playing in and the way these guys have just kept growing. Like they've just kept growing into being where we are right now.
You'd think dropping 25 points in your playoff debut would be cause for celebration, right? Well, not if you're Caitlin Clark. This rookie sensation put up numbers that would make most players green with envy. But here's the kicker. She walked off the court feeling like she'd let her team down. How is that even possible? Let's break it down. Clark's stat line was impressive on paper. 25 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, and a block. That's the kind of performance that usually has fans going crazy and commentators singing your praises. But in the world of professional basketball, context is everything. Here's where things get wild. Clark's shooting percentage, a cringe-worthy 4 of 17 from the field, and from beyond the arc, an even more painful 2 of 13. It's like watching a master chef burn toast. You know they're capable of so much more, but something just isn't clicking. Clark herself couldn't hide her frustration. She said, "My shot felt right there. It's so frustrating as a shooter when it feels so good, but it won't go down for you." Can you imagine how that feels? It's like having the answer on the tip of your tongue but not being able to spit it out. Brutal. But wait, there's more to this story. While Clark was battling her own shot, she was also facing off against a defensive mastermind. Enter Dawana Bonner, a 15-year veteran who gave Clark a lesson she won't soon forget.
Proud of these guys for how we played on Sunday, and they took from that and really did what we asked them to do tonight and gave ourselves a chance to win.
I feel like taking some time to myself and really enjoying that and reflecting back, and it was special. There was a lot of things that this group accomplished.
I mean, these guys never were in a position that we couldn't win this game. We were right, whatever it was at half, and we just kind of kept, like it was like an engine. We just kind of kept getting better as the game went on.
Bonner's defensive strategy was like watching a chess grandmaster at work. She denied Clark space for her signature step-back jumper and used her length to disrupt Clark's drives to the basket. It was a masterclass in how to shut down a star player, and Clark was the unwilling student. And let's not forget about Marina Mabrey. While Clark was struggling to find her rhythm, Mabrey was lighting it up from beyond the arc. Clark's defensive lapses gave Mabry the opening she needed, and she took full advantage. It was like watching a game of cat and mouse, but Clark kept finding herself on the wrong end of the chase. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds pretty rough. Where's the silver lining? Well, here's the thing about Clark. Even on her worst shooting night, she still found ways to impact the game. Those 9 assists, they show she was creating opportunities for her teammates. The 6 rebounds, proof that she was hustling on both ends of the court. But perhaps the most telling sign of Clark's potential was her refusal to back down. Even as her shots clanged off the rim, she kept firing. That's the kind of mentality that separates good players from great ones. It's easy to stay aggressive when everything's going your way. The real test is how you respond when the basketball gods seem to be working against you. The Fever's overall performance showed just how much of an impact Clark's struggles had on the team. They couldn't maintain their composure as the sun started to pull away in the second half. It was a harsh reminder that in playoff basketball, experience often trumps raw talent. Remember that opponent I mentioned earlier? It's time to blow the whistle on this mystery. You think Clark's shooting woes were tough? Wait till you hear about the real opponent she was facing. It wasn't just the sun or her own nerve. It was the ones holding the whistles. What happens when the refs become part of the game? Caitlin Clark's playoff debut wasn't just a battle against the Suns' defense. It was a fight against some seriously questionable officiating. Fans were losing their minds as Clark kept getting knocked around without a single whistle. It was like watching a boxing match where one fighter had their hands tied behind their back. Picture this. Clark's driving to the basket. She's got defenders all over her, practically hugging her, and nothing. No foul call. It happened again and again. Commentators were scratching their heads, fans were screaming at their TVs, and Clark, she was trying to keep her cool while getting roughed up with no protection from the refs. You know what's even crazier? This wasn't the first time Clark had to deal with some weird officiating. Remember that game against the Las Vegas Aces? Clark got hit with a technical foul for what? Basically just existing. Fans went ballistic saying the refs were out to get her. And after this playoff game, those conspiracy theories are starting to sound a little less crazy. So what's the deal? Are the refs really treating Clark differently because she's a rookie? Some experts think so. They say that in high-stakes games like the playoff, rookies, especially ones with as much hype as Clark, often get the short end of the stick when it comes to calls. It's like they have to earn their whistles or something. How messed up is that? But here's where it gets really interesting. How do you think a player like Clark should handle this kind of situation? It's not like she can just walk up to the ref and say, "Hey, could you maybe do your job?" Well, she could, but that'd probably just get her another tech. Some pros say the best strategy is to just keep your head down and play your game. Don't let the bad calls get in your head. Others think it's all about body language. Show the refs you're getting fouled without making a big scene. And then there's the kill 'em with kindness approach. Maybe if Clark starts complimenting the refs on their haircuts, they'll throw her a bone and call a foul or two. But jokes aside, dealing with unfair officiating is a serious skill that every great player has to master. It's not just about keeping your cool in the moment. It's about learning how to adapt your game when you know you're not going to get the calls. Maybe you start passing more instead of driving, or you focus on your defense to make up for the points you're not getting on offense. The crazy thing is, this whole experience might actually make Clark an even better player in the long run. Think about it. If she can learn to dominate even when the whistle isn't going her way, imagine what she'll do when the calls start evening out. It's like training with weights on your ankles. Once those weights come off, you're going to fly. You think Clark's playoff struggles are the end of her story? Think again. This rookie's just getting started, and she's got the entire sports world buzzing. How does a single player quadruple viewership overnight? What kind of rookie sells out arenas faster than you can say buckets? Caitlin Clark, that's who. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Let's talk about the Clark effect. This girl isn't just good, she's changing the whole game. Remember when I said she dropped 25 points in her playoff debut? Well, that's just a taste of what she's been doing all season. Clark's not just living up to the hype, she's creating a whole new level of excitement. Imagine being so good that people start comparing you to legends like Steph Curry and Larry Bird. That's exactly what's happening with Clark. Some folks are saying she's got Curry's insane shooting skills mixed with Bird's competitive fire. That's like combining a flamethrower with a nuclear reactor. It's explosive, but here's where things get really crazy. Clark isn't just impressing the experts, she's bringing in fans by the truckload. Get this, one of her games pulled in 1.84 million viewers. That's not just good, that's insane. To put it in perspective, a game with the reigning MVP only got 460,000 viewers. Clark's not just moving the needle, she's breaking it. And it's not just about TV numbers. Clark's presence is turning WNBA games into the hottest ticket in town. We're talking sellout crowds, people. When's the last time you heard about WNBA games selling out left and right? It's like Clark's got some kind of magnetic field that's pulling fans into arenas. You know what's even crazier? Fans are showing up decked out in Iowa gear and Fever jerseys. They're not just watching Clark play, they're living and breathing her journey. It's like they're all part of Team Clark, riding this roller coaster with her. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what does this mean for the WNBA? Well, let me tell you, it's huge. Clark's not just a player, she's becoming the face of the league. She's got people talking about women's basketball in a way we haven't seen before. It's like she's single-handedly changing the conversation around the WNBA. And get this, Clark's already breaking record. In her rookie season, she dished out 19 assists in a single game. That's not just good for a rookie, that's a WNBA record. Period. She's not just playing the game, she's redefining it. But here's the thing that's got everyone excited. Clark's just getting started. This playoff experience, it's like rocket fuel for her career. Sure, she had some struggles, but that's just going to make her hungrier. Imagine what she'll do next season when she's got this experience under her belt. Clark's impact goes beyond just her play on the court. She's becoming a symbol of what's possible in women's basketball. Young girls are watching her and thinking, I want to be like Caitlin Clark. She's inspiring a whole new generation of players and fans. And let's not forget about the league itself. The WNBA's been growing, but Clark's arrival is like hitting the nitro boost. More fans mean more attention, more sponsorships, more everything. She's not just elevating her team, she's lifting the entire league. All right, let's talk about what's next for Caitlin Clark and the Fever. Sure, they lost this series, but man, did Clark show us something special. Even with those crazy officiating challenges, she put up 25 points in her playoff debut. That's insane. Now, picture this. Clark teaming up with Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell next season. That's a young core that's going to give other teams nightmares. Clark's already saying, we can win. I have all the confidence in the world in this team. You know what that means? The Fever are just getting started. Here's the thing, Clark's not just changing the Fever, she's transforming the whole WNBA. More fans, more excitement, more everything. This loss, it's not the end of Clark's story. Nah, it's just the beginning of a whole new era in women's basketball. Trust me, you're gonna want to watch what happens next.